Good morning. I'm Jessica Wagoner, and I am here with Corey from Trico, and we are going to chat with you today about the Lincoln Centennial campaign, which is a campaign to upgrade our ADA accessibility options for patrons, guests, and volunteers and artists, as well as to install fire suppression to keep everybody safe on a long-term basis and protect our theater into the next 100 years, and to install HVAC so that we can be both comfortable and have a safe level of temperature in the theater for performers and patrons during the summer. Corey, did you want to introduce yourself and talk about the project?
Corey Tepper with Trico Companies. I'll be the project manager. Again, it's going to be a very nice project. To add to that, we're doing a bunch of HVAC upgrades as well as like Jessica said, a bunch of fire suppression. So in the ceiling, we'll have fire suppression heads poking down, and then there'll be caps that'll be color matched to kind of bring and match that historic look. There'll be a concealed head.
We were going to walk through the theater today and just show you what things look like right now today, just before we start the main portion of the project. And then later on, we're going to document and show you what the theater looks like afterwards. We wanted to start here in the theater because this is the place that people most associate with the Lincoln in our auditorium or house, as we often refer to it. And what we've done in here so far is, for the most part, this is not a space that you're actually going to see anything. So there will be sprinkler heads that are up in the ceiling, but those are going to be designed so that when you walk in, you have the safety of fire suppression, but at the same time, what you still see is the 1926 auditorium as you see right now and are used to seeing in the Lincoln. But what we have already done, we're going to go ahead and walk right over here to our ADA section. That is a portion of the project that we have already added on. So just when I started at the theater in April of 2025, this section was just another row of seats. And what we've done is added an additional ADA section already as part of the project. And you'll see when you come back to the theater in October, you'll see that we have this, there's a few little finishing touches that's going to make it exactly like our ADA section on the other side, which we'll go to in a moment. But this has already been used. Many different sold out concerts that we've had, this ADA section has been full, and that has allowed people, additional people with mobility issues, to be able to come in and use the theater to see all of the different special artists that we have come through the Lincoln. And so right over here, you're going to see that we currently do have an ADA section on the other side. I'll just move this really quickly. And you can see that we're getting everything cleared out so that we're able to do the project. But this section, the ADA, is going to be expanded out to make it so that it's much easier for people with, either a large walker or with a power chair to be able to, or any wheelchair, to be able to get in and out of the section. So this section, this side already has the wider opening, and this section, the opening will be increased in size when we reopen. And those are really the only changes that you're going to physically see, right, Corey? Inside of the actual theater. So Corey, should we go down into the green room and take a look at some of the additional ADA, as well as the classroom and difference that taking the ductwork out is going to make? All right, we're here with you in the backstage at the Lincoln, in the Lincoln's green room. So this is a space that's used extensively by our artists. It's also used by Skagit theater campers who use this as a classroom space, and it's used by our volunteers to get into our kitchen and to come down and get changed in a dressing room right over here. And you can see that we have a set of stairs right here now that is pretty much impossible for anyone with mobility challenges to be able to get up and down. And one thing that we're really excited about doing as part of the project is that we're going to put in an ADA lift that's going to make it so that people can go from our lobby down into this space without using any stairs. Corey,
Yep.
can you tell us
Yeah,
more about it?
exactly. So as Jessica said, all of this will be removed. Water heater in the sink. This entire lift platform will be relocated and demoed. There will be a new ADA lift somewhere right about where I'm standing, and the lift will be, this landing will be rebuilt with stairs that kind of come on down to this side, as well as all this ductwork. As you can see, it's very low clearance at this moment. So that lift, when we get all this ductwork out of here, a handicapped person will be able to go into the lift, come down here, and they'll be able to roll into this green room. Okay, on the topic of the ductwork, as you can see, I'm kind of a tall guy. It's a lot of head knockers in here. A lot of this ductwork will be removed, taken all the way back to around the corner, where we will come in with new ductwork that will be much more of a lower profile. Everything will be higher to the ceiling, and we'll pick up those connections, as in back in those corners. Those are the existing ducts that go up through the walls of the theater and that feed, HVAC and air and cooling throughout the actual theater itself. So that's kind of the biggest portion of this project, is removing a lot of this ductwork and now salvaging a lot of this ductwork due to all the history of the signatures and the artwork, which the Lincoln will take on and donate or make art out of it.
So one thing that we're really excited about, even though it isn't the core of the project, is that we are going to, gain this headspace. This obviously, if you can think about anyone with mobility challenges, even someone that's just a little bit klutzy like me, just always, all of our floors down here have different levels to them throughout. And at the same time, you have to watch your head constantly. So I'm always telling people as I'm giving a tour, you have to watch your, watch your step and watch your head. And those are two things that can just be really challenging to do at the same time. So when we take these ducts out and when we level out the floor in this space, as well as utilize the additional space that we're getting in the boiler room area, we're going to take out a wall right here that's going to go all the way back to the back wall and give us a really big open flat space to use as a classroom space or to use for people to have events at the Lincoln. So now we'll be able to have people, people with mobility issues can get down in the ADA lift into a flat open space that can be used for events. So you can have a birthday party in this space before a movie, as long as we don't have an artist. When we do have artists in the space who have mobility challenges, they have a space where they can actually use a standard dressing room and access all of the space. And we are going to have the ability as well to, as I said, have volunteers be able to access this space who also have mobility challenges. So we're really excited about both having the extra space and a space that can be used for various different things that we do at the Lincoln. Take a look at the old furnace room and some of the biggest changes happening. Okay, perfect. Right this way. So I know this is one of the biggest changes that's happening, and this is kind of where it's all at. This is where we are removing the boiler and putting in the new stuff, and I think you were going to tell us about it in detail.
Yes.
Let me grab the light.
Yeah, watch your step as you come in. So this is currently the boiler room. We've got a boiler system here. All of this will be removed. We'll haul it all out, take out some of this mechanical piping and the gas lines. There's a gas line that comes in here, goes all the way to the back of the building. That'll go out. We are going to all electric with this mechanical system. What we're standing in now is actually going to be the future bathroom. So since we are down on a sort of a lower section, this door will get framed in, and then the new floor will start somewhere about here and come across like this, and behind you will be the new door to walk into this bathroom. where they'll have a shower in the future and a toilet. And then behind here will be another wall that sort of divides this, which will lead into like a janitor's closet, floor sink, and a mop sink. And then as we come through this door, let's see. This is sort of a continuation of a relic of HVAC equipment, and it's basically just a blower moving fresh air, pulling it from outside and bringing it in and circulating it throughout the theater. So this is sort of a filter door system, which will all be removed, as well as all this ductwork. And you come in here, and this is a big blower system with a bunch of filters that essentially is just spinning on a leather belt and just moving air throughout the whole theater system. So the new mechanical equipment will kind of start right when this room is, and a section of this wall will come out to make a nice big great room for what we call an ERV system and DOAS systems that'll stack up with new mechanical equipment that will go back to all the ductwork that we were just looking at in the green room. It'll all be revised to be more of a low profile.
Corey, shall we go into the artist ramp and the pass-through area and talk more about some other pieces of the project? I know this is the area that we're going to do a lot of changes, even though this isn't a place that the public typically is going to show. Can you tell us about those changes,
Yeah,
Corey?
so for this project, we had to bring in 480 power. It had to be its own dedicated service because we didn't have enough room to upsize the current panels. So in the alleyway here, we coordinated it with PSC, and we actually were able to bring in utilities underground and put back new concrete. But as you can see right here, those utilities have come in and they go into this CT can, which will jump over to here, and this will be basically its dedicated electrical system for the HVAC equipment that we were putting in to basically get rid of gas and make everything electric.
Okay, so I know one of the other areas that we have some impacts that are happening are right here in the pass-through, and this is how we get from the street back into the green room and to access our back alley.
Yep. So with this overframe, we will be removing all of these walls on the sides. And what you probably don't see, but behind this, there's about another 2 to 3 feet of space. So we're going to demo out all this. And then when we rebuild it, we're going to rebuild it to the full width of this corridor to kind of expand all this room here. And as you can see, we do have some elevation differences, so we will have stairs coming down. Again, over here, this set of stairs will actually be brought more this way to give them a little bit more of a working space up here for makeup for the future. And it just kind of keeps coming down here. And then it turns down in here behind this sort of wall system. There will be a set of stairs that goes back down, and it kind of integrates back into the green room. As we talked on earlier, there's a wall that will be coming out, so now there'll be an expanded green room area, and it just kind of will circulate around.
And I know one thing I'm really excited about is, even though I know we're still going to have some stairs right here, it's just not really feasible for us to do something different, but artists will have a bathroom, a green room, a dressing room, all accessible on one level with an ADA lift that goes up and down.
That's correct.
So that the theater becomes fully usable for artists, volunteers, and Skagit Theater campers that have those needs. So Corey, should we go in the foundation office and look at the changes that are going to happen so that the project can happen in the foundation area?
Yeah, let's go look.
Corey, I know there's some big sort of infrastructural shoring up that needed to be done in order for us to be able to have the HVAC unit on our roof. Can you tell us about how that's going to impact our office space?
Yeah, I can. So the ERV will be, it's basically an outdoor unit. We'll sit up on top of the roof of the foundation office, which is separate from the theater. And in order to support it, we basically are going to be cutting into these walls and putting steel columns in that are about 22 feet tall. and we will cut a hole in the roof, and at some point we will bring them in via crane and drop them into place, and they will bolt down to the existing slab. So there'll be 6 columns, 2 of them about right here on this wall, and then 2 more in the front, and then 2 more in the back here to kind of support this big mechanical system.
Let's go check out where the fire riser room is going to be, also in the foundation office. So Corey, I know we have a big change that's going to happen right here once we have the fire riser room put in. We're going to cover that, of course, on the wall or on the window here with the closing credits for everyone who's helped with the project. Do you want to tell us what we're going to see here and how it's going to be different?
So part of the requirements of the fire suppression system is we have to bring in a riser. So in this corner, we're going to build a dedicated fire riser room. And we've already ran the water in because when the new library went in, the city of Mount Vernon required a 5-year moratorium where we couldn't cut into the streets. So a couple of years ago, we were actually able to bring in the water, and we've brought the wire line in, and right here on the concrete, we've actually stubbed in just outside. So all we have to do now is make the incision there, quick incision here, we'll bring the water in, and the riser system will be right in here. But as Jessica said, it's kind of it's visible to the outside public, so they will be able to decorate this window system with their posters and their banners and their congratulations of the project.
Corey, what's a fire riser?
Essentially, it's a bunch of handles and wheels and circles and piping systems that come up, and the water is going to come in on an 8-inch pipe, and it helps control and modulate how fast and the flow of the water is going to circulate throughout the remainder of the building. But it's also integrated to the fire alarm system with bells and whistles, so in the event of an emergency, it sends an audible signal to the building to evacuate, but it also sends a signal to the fire department saying we are recognizing water flow, which must mean a fire, and they will dispatch the fire department.
And I know you shared with me, Corey, that when it comes to that water flow, it's not just like what would make a normal smoke alarm go off. So we have alarms currently throughout the theater, and those go off based on some kind of smoke was sensed. Could be potentially, sometimes if you have a smoke machine, it might go off. But I know that these won't go off based on that. It really has to be that intense heat.
That is correct. That or, if a sprinkler head breaks, they are just a little glass system. And it's one of those, I call it pop. It starts to flow water. But it's not like you see in the movies where a chain of them will pop all at one time. So it takes a fire to make that happen. But to your point, it is separate from a smoke detection system versus a fire system.
Why don't we go across the street and let's talk about different changes that are happening outside of the theater.
Okay. Up on the roof of the Foundation Center, the ERV DOAS system will sit up there on the steel columns, and one of the requirements from the City of Mount Vernon is they don't want to see visual HVAC equipment. So we are going to put a screen in that will hide that equipment, and it's color matched to match the brick, as well as there will be ductwork that goes up that wall and penetrates into the theater to get into the attic space, which will feed all of the theater. That all has to be painted red to match the brick as well as part of the requirement of the city.
Shall we go to Pine Square?
Yeah, let's go have a look.
So Corey, I can see a big hole in the ground. What is happening with this?
Yeah, so this is the secondary power needed to power the HVAC equipment. So we coordinated with PSE, and they've put in a vault. And as you can see, there's a new concrete that has been poured, and it goes down and it goes into the alley that we had looked at earlier. 2 conduits bringing power in, and PSE will bring a big power transformer, and they will set it right on top of this vault lid, and that will be the power for the HVAC equipment.
So Corey, here we are back where we started. I know this is the spot that we're going to see the least difference, but also the spot where most people are going to experience all of the positive changes that are taking place at the Lincoln. Today is June 5th or 6th. I know we actually don't start the main project until June 15th. And then we have the Bodines coming on October 9th. So project has to be done on time on October 7th. how are we going to get all this work done in that time
Yeah,
period?
so Trico has been a part of this project for a while. It's a design build. Our mechanical and our electrical teams are part of the design. They know the system very well. A lot of our long lead items have already been ordered, so we have that going for us. The materials on site. We do have really good subcontractors, and we do have a good Trico team to help support those subcontractors. And we've done a lot of pre-planning, a lot of conversations with the city, and we've had 6 months to plan for this job, and we're all really looking forward to getting it going. And 17 weeks is a very aggressive schedule, but we are ready for it.
Well, I am here to help you with whatever you need on my end. Thank you very much. Hi, it's June 17th, and we're about 2.5 weeks into the project. Let's see what the theater looks like. I'm standing here in what is normally the Lincoln Theater lobby. However, we have moved everything out of the box office, business office, into various spaces, largely into this space, and we're utilizing it to keep on going with our business office activities. I'm standing here in the Lincoln Theater Auditorium where you're used to seeing shows, and as you can see, we have moved everything out of our business office, but also from the green room, as well as various spaces that we use to house all of the things that we use to put on shows and maintain the theater. So we are storing things here in the auditorium while the rest of the spaces are getting ready for construction to begin. I'm here in the green room, and as you can see, there is almost nothing in here. If you were an artist, you'd be really disappointed because you wouldn't have a space to sit. So as you can see, we've cleared out everything so that the ducks can come down, which will be happening early next week. And if we walk into this space here where we used to store a lot of the things that we use to put on productions, you can see that this has also been entirely cleared out. And we've taken the dressing rooms and packed them full of various items that we don't expect to need until we reopen in October. Let me show you the other dressing room. Voila! I'm standing at the edge of the theater in between the traditional theater space and the business office, which located in the building next door. This area is an area that used to be an alley and was built together to combine the two spaces. And normally we have lots of things stored all the way through this space. And as you can see, in order to make the project happen, we've cleared out all of that space. Now we're standing in the business office of the Lincoln, and I can hear a big echo of my voice in this space that's normally filled with items that we use to run the theater. And that's all been cleared out, and again is either in our lobby or in our auditorium as we store it all so that every internal wall can come down inside of the business office to put our pillars up, of course. And so that also meant the entire mezzanine space upstairs has been cleared out, and our old furnace that we used to use to heat the lobby with, or the business office with, which has been taken, which is not working order anymore, will also be removed, and everything will be in one HVAC zone. I'm standing in an area that we call the pass-through, and even though there won't be any work done in this space, this is the space that the construction people are going to use to access all of the different spaces that they're working on. So we've cleared this out so that they have spaces to keep their tools as well as get in and out of the different areas that do have work occurring. This space right here is also part of the original alley that we talked about earlier. And if I walk right in here, you can see the other space that we've cleared out. So everything is cleared out again in this narrow corridor that is a portion of the original alley, as well as space right here that was entirely filled with different pieces that we use to maintain the theater and put on productions. And this space we didn't look at before, but this is a space that will be impacted by the project, and it's also just really cool. This is the Wurlitzer fan. So this runs the Wurlitzer and makes it so that the system is pressurized, and they will be doing some reconfiguration of this space as they just improve how the space is working overall when they take the boiler out. So I look forward to seeing what changes occur.